truth? Bring it on.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth? I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Here comes the truth.
Welcome back. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, proudly on AFR Talk. In a few moments, we'll be joined by the Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union. Excuse me. Yes, the Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, our good friend Pizza Sepp. And did you just call him Pizza? I'm trying it out. Pete Sepp, pardon me. He'll be with us to discuss a number of things, but what's going on in the tax code and what's being proposed, boring. Not really, because you're going to see what has happened to the debate on what President Obama is attempting to sell as this idea of, you know what, we want companies to relocate here and not do business abroad, so what we're going to do is tax them into doing it. And it's just another way that he takes personally, goes after an idea that we can all appreciate. Yeah, we want American jobs. Amen. But we want American jobs that are based on competition, actual competition, and not protection, because that hurts us all. And it is one of the things, it's a very populist notion, very popular, absolutely popular to say, buy in America, made in America. This to me is one of the things that politicians love to exploit, because we all want to support our fellow men and women in the workforce, but not at the expense of growth, development, and constitution, as well as protection for certain industries over others, thereby giving the government the power to say who does what. I believe in freedom from God, to use our godly gifts. People should not have to apologize for that or be accused of being anti-American for it. But that's the conversation we'll have. Now, the conversation that we are having right now is about that debate between Senator Tom Coburn, and Senator Ted Cruz. You heard Chris Matthews last hour, as well as Joe Scarborough, criticize Ted Cruz, and that's putting it mildly, for assailing Tom Coburn and saying he was part of the Surrender Caucus. We played for you the interview, part of the interview that took place on Laura Ingram's program, where he was asked directly about that. And as I say that, I feel bad, but I'm going to call an audible and pull that back up to B13, if you would. B13. And here is Senator Ted Cruz addressing the claim that he was specifically pointing to Tom Coburn and saying, you're part of the Surrender Caucus when it comes to the idea of defunding Obamacare. Roll it.
I did not say that about anybody. And I have not said an ill word about...
What's your chief of staff? What's your chief of staff? I mean, he's speaking as your proxy, is he not?
No, he actually was not. He did that on his own, and I didn't know about it. And I don't agree with that, and I have not said an ill word about any of my colleagues. They have used some pretty nasty language about me, but my approach is not to reciprocate, and I don't intend to. I think Tom Coburn is a good man, and he is entitled to his own views on what the best strategy is. A question I would suggest to you whenever you're talking to those who are explaining why this approach doesn't make sense is to ask the simple question, what's your alternative? If it's right that if this goes into effect on January 1, we will never, ever, ever get rid of it, what is your alternative? Because I've sat in endless meetings where people say, well, no, we can't do this.
He's being called a terrorist by Chris Matthews. Now, Blondie obviously has some issues. Maybe the tingles have... Maybe too many tingles. That could be the case. But when you have Joe Scarborough and others making these comments, what really, it just chaps me, because this is the ultimate diversion. They're disagreeing on how to get rid of a very, very flawed law. One that is costing jobs. That's why we have the U6 part-time employment and discouraged workers and temp jobs. Half of the new jobs are part-time or temp jobs because they're complying with Obamacare and they don't want the cost that it puts on them. So they lower the hours. They lower the amount of hours and they stay under an amount of workers of 50. Under 50 employees, under 40 hours. Which turns them into part-time. And inevitably everybody's going to be dumped into Medicaid, but that's another story altogether. My point is this. They're merely disagreeing on how to get rid of a terrible law in light of the fact that this administration has selectively enforced it. And we want to go after Ted Cruz for giving some teeth to the threat of saying, no, we're not going to play the game. We're not going to continue to do what got us here. And we're going to have a rift between defund and delay. And delay is the idea that it will self-destruct. I don't think so. Why don't they put their focus on what a disaster this is? Why don't they put the focus on the fact that this administration continues to tell lies? Where's that coverage? That they were off by, 100% when it came to the costs of this. When they were off with the fact of what it was going to do to healthcare premiums. I mean, really? This is why we are in the state we're in. Because the state-run media, and that's by choice, by the way, because bottom line, they love the state, are looking to focus on, it would be like on the highway. You're driving on the highway and you see almost like a nuclear wreck in front of you, okay? Picture the movie The Smoking Gun and Leslie Nielsen right in front of the fireworks factory, and he's sitting there and he's going, nothing to see here. Not at all. And they want to focus in on a car where two buddies are having a conversation about sports going back and forth and saying, wow, that's a really scary situation. They may come to blows. Meanwhile, you got carnage up ahead. Don't focus on that. Don't focus on the drunk driver that caused it. Or the reckless driver that caused it. It's pretty reckless not to pass a law and not know what's in it, isn't it? Crane Durham's nothing but truth. Okay, let's, we've shifted now. Guess who else doesn't want to, actually, I'm going to save that one because it just shows again the way this thing is crumbling, and that being Obamacare. Let's go to the rift between Rand Paul and Chris Christie. Rand Paul, libertarian, was criticized by Chris Christie only because Christie was asked about Rand Paul, about the NSA program, and well, Rand Paul's like, look, this division's not working out. Yesterday on Cavuto, he suggests, let's go for some suds. Roll it. B14, sorry. B14.
We're going to have to patch things up. If we can sit down, I'm inviting him for a beer. Anytime he would like to come down and sit down at the pub right around the corner from this, like I say, the offer to have a beer with Chris Christie stands. If he wants to break bread and see if we can find some common ground, I think it'll help the party to not have us feuding.
All right, so there you have that. And then you have Chris Christie's response. Roll it.
I know there are members. I'm running for re-election in New Jersey. I don't really have time for that at the moment. You know, I mean, if I find myself down in Washington, I'll certainly look him up. But I don't suspect I'll be there anytime soon. I've got work to do here. Going on vacation with my family, and then I've got work to do here to get reelected on November 5th. And that's what I'll be focusing my time and energy on, along with the rebuilding of the state after Sandy and dealing with the other issues that invariably come on the desk of a governor when you're responsible for actually doing things and not just debating.
All right. You caught that back and forth. Here's my take. I have to be that guy. Can we stop offering to go out for a beer? Why not just go out for a pizza? Okay? Why do we always have to have these beer summits? It's just a thought. Green Durham's nothing but truth. AFR Talk.